Reliable Hydraulic Solutions at 850-326-3000 for any of your hydraulic needs.
Visit their new location, Highway 77, south of Tractor Supply.
Turf Pro Lawn and Pest Control. They take pride in caring for their customers' property by providing lawn and whole house pest control. Whether you have roaches or any other unwanted bugs in your home, Turf Pro has you covered. Or if your lawn needs weed control, fertilize, insect control, Turf Pro has you covered by providing custom treatments to meet your property's needs. No property is the same, so why should it be treated that way? Turf Pro, where the blue and yellow trucks make your lawn green. Call 850-890-5820.
Imagine a world where no child goes to bed hungry.
We do, every day. It's a beautiful place.
But right now, families are struggling, and too many children don't have enough to eat.
So we're called to help them, to bring them food, resources, and hope.
To support families today so they can build a better tomorrow for their children.
To do this, we connect people. People like you, who can do so much for the most vulnerable children across this country and around the world.
If we work together and seize this moment, we won't have to just imagine that beautiful place.
We can create a world where no child goes to bed hungry.
FeedTheChildren.org. WPLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX Lunan, powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
It's the next evolution of sports talk radio. The biggest stories and the biggest reactions.
Now.
And now we're taking
With the first pick.
This is the last ball you got to bat. The Inside Drive. From college to the pros. Interviews with the newsmakers, sports betting, your phone calls, and more. And now, The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey. Broadcasting from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, maybe.
This is a joke that you're not getting. Can you hear me now? Good.
That is golden.
That just came to me there, Jay.
Yeah, that was great.
You know, with the whole crazy cell phone thing going on this morning. Luckily, my Verizon that I stuck with after the hurricane, because I figured everybody moved to AT&T, so there'd be more availability on that Verizon network. Yep. Here we are now. You good?
I'm Verizon.
Oh, there you go.
I'm good.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Beth was not this morning, and I know a lot of other people with the old AT&T action going on. But yes, just felt like the right thing to say is, "Can you hear me now?" to open up the show, because that was a great commercial from Verizon. Ironically,
it was.
Hey, Verizon, if you're listening to this, give me a couple months free credit for all that. That'd be nice.
But I thought they were all the same cell phone towers anyway.
Supposedly,
right? I mean,
there's a few that work off the same network, but there's also those satellites floating around up there as well. That maybe something happened to those. You know, people have been talking about a solar flare as well. Coincidences?
Yeah.
There are none.
Yeah.
So
it could be a solar
hopefully,
flare.
if you are someone who has AT&T, or I've heard there's some other issues too, that it gets resolved, because if you need your cell phone to work, obviously that's a very important thing. But with all that being said, you are listening to the Inside Drive on this beautiful Thursday morning and soon to be afternoon on 104.3 in Panama City Beach, 101.9 in Port St. Joe along the Forgotten Coast. You can watch and listen and admire Jay's beautiful face right there on Facebook, X, or YouTube. Just search ESPN Northwest Florida. Download our free mobile app inside the Google Play or Apple Store. That one, you do got to drop that little 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida in front of that one to find it. And then, of course, we got a TikTok page, and Keith Fleming tagged us in his TikTok action. I don't know, what do you call it? TikTok post, TikTok reel, TikTok video? I don't know what you call it.
Post.
Post. We'll go with post.
Post.
That sounds good. Post. Post is always to the middle of the field. Corners are always to the outside, Jay Hendler.
Gotcha.
There you go.
Flag route? What's flag route?
Flag route. Just think of a flag.
Flag to the right?
It depends.
Or left?
The post and the corner have specific directions, but the flag route can be like a flag.
I gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah. Waving.
More like a corner route.
Yeah, waving in the breeze a little bit.
Noted.
Duly noted for the next time you're out there on the field.
Yeah, that which will be never.
It's come on.
Yeah.
Never?
I'm done.
All right. Did you see, though, that, I can't yet, but hopefully soon, the Southern Elite Sports has an over 38 basketball league?
Ah.
Now, is it 38 and over or over 38? Because if it's 38 and over, then I'm good. But if it's over 38, then I got to wait one more year.
Half court?
Yes, it is half court.
Very good.
Which is smart.
Yeah.
I appreciate them appealing to the older guys that still want to get some exercise and be competitive, but may not have the stamina that they had when they were 16, 17 years old.
Probably the scrappiness is still there amongst.
Oh, the scrappiness never leaves. That's for sure.
Right.
That's for sure. That's always in there. That's more of a mental thing than it is a physical thing. So now, physically being scrappy is another thing. That's for sure. But yeah, we're having a good show.
We are having a great show.
I can't wait for that. It's coming up April 26th. Going to be a good time. Lots to talk about today. If you are a local and your son is playing on one of the middle school basketball teams that are in the playoffs, you want to make sure you tune in at 11:20 or just tune in the whole time like you should. That's what you should do anyway. But Chris Fall will be joining us at 11:20. We're going to be talking a lot about local sports, a little bit of NHL action, college basketball action, and we are going to get to those MLB uniform updates as well. Jay Henley, maybe talk a little bit about Charlie Woods and that process he's going to be going down. Just a lot of good stuff going on. I'm going to start last night, Gavlax Stadium. We went over there, and man, I've been to several. I haven't been to any soccer games this year, but when Braden was a senior, I went to a lot of soccer games to support him and Linda. But man, it was packed out on the Arnold side of things. The student section was in full force, and just a great showing. We talked a little bit, I don't know what day it was this week, but we just kind of felt like Arnold was going to get that revenge on Booker T. Washington from getting knocked out of the playoffs last year, and then earlier this year in the district championship, they beat him in PKs. And Arnold, they came out, man, that was just, even Beth, who, not to her discredit, but she doesn't know a whole lot about soccer.
Right.
And she's learned a little bit about soccer on the middle school level because Ryan's been playing soccer. But about 5 minutes into the game, she's like, oh my gosh, this is a whole different ballgame. I was like, yeah, you're watching the number one team in the country. I mean, this is serious soccer talent. It was intense. It was fast. The crowd was loud. Just a lot of fun. And
was the band there? Cheerleaders?
No band.
Do bands come to soccer games?
I don't know.
No,
I don't think so. But the student section was out in full force, and they had a game plan, and they did a really, really good job. And someone ended up getting kicked out too for having a vuvuzela or an air horn. I can't remember what it was there towards the end of the game. I was waiting for Jonah to text me back about one of the things so I don't misspeak, but I can speculate on it. But anyway, Arnold got off to a good start. They scored a goal. I don't know I forget exactly when, but we'll say about halfway through that first half after kind of a lot of feeling out. But most of the play was in Booker T. Washington's end, and Arnold was just looking good. And then had a great goal scored in the upper right hand corner of the net. And then just a few moments later, did it again with a great through ball and a great step around the goalie. And man, it was intense. There was even some of the Arnold players going past the Booker T. Washington bench, getting a little revenge, trolling them a little bit there for sure. But it was interesting because they had teams like football. Like typically, both teams are on the same sideline, just separated by the halves. Arnold was on the far sideline, and Booker T. Washington was on the home sideline, right in front of the student section.
That is awesome.
So it was. I mean, for a high school soccer game, I don't know if it gets much better than that. The only thing I'm disappointed at is there's not another one to go to here locally.
So there's 4 teams in the state of Florida currently that they'll go in
5A.
In 5A.
Yep. So you have the 4 regions within 5A, and that was the Region 1 final.
Okay.
And it was a 2-1 victory there. But some other cool things from the game is, every time the goalkeeper would get ready to kick a goal kick or a punt, the whole students, like when a kickoff in football, where everybody's like, oh,
yeah.
And then they, explode when the kick goes off. So every time he punted it or kicked it, they did that, which I thought was really cool. But just a lot of energy, fun atmosphere. I mean, there was a ton of kids. There was just everybody was there. It was a great time. And it was cool to see the support out there for the Arnold soccer team. But now they need the help. Talked to Jonah this morning, and just reach out to Arnold if we talked about Rutherford yesterday. They've got a lot of expenses coming up for this run that they're on, and they've got that huge game this evening at 7 p.m. over there at Bishop Kenny, trying to make it to the Final Four in the 4A girls basketball state tournament. So this is the Region 1 final as well. So hopefully the Rutherford girls have the same aggressiveness and outcome that the Arnold boys soccer team had.
I can't imagine having to feed these kids for 3 or 4 nights, if you're going through.
Yeah, well, you got lodging. And one of the things, too, if you think about this, you want to get down there with enough time to settle in and then get into your normal routine. And that usually means another day of lodging. And for a soccer team where you've got, 16, 17, 18 people on the team plus all your staff, that's a lot of rooms you got to get. And, anybody that's willing to help, that goes a long way. Again, because it goes back to the pride, right, in your county. You've got a couple of these schools that are, making unbelievably awesome runs in the state tournaments, and we got to support them.
Yep.
We got to support them. But yeah, we had there was another funny incident. Again, I did not just got an update. Travis, his phone resolved. They were working on it, and he got it fixed. There you go, Travis. I don't know why I read that out loud. It just felt like the right thing to do.
How many people do you think's already been to T-Mobile or Verizon this morning, already flipping?
Well, nobody's going to Verizon. Oh, you mean signing up for Verizon? Yeah, I guarantee there's some for sure.
I mean, that's people that just
married to it. And if you're Verizon or T-Mobile, here's your time to strike while the iron's hot with a little marketing promotion.
Yeah,
which I think they're doing a lot anyway right now. Like I think Verizon's giving away a whole bunch of stuff if you sign up with them. So.
Oh yeah,
but yeah, strike while the iron's hot on that. Right. That's for sure. It's kind of like what AT&T did during the hurricane or after the hurricane. They had service and they got a lot of people to sign up.
Sure did.
So there's always with every situation, there's always an opportunity that comes out of it. That's for sure. But yeah, one of the, again, this may not, I don't know exactly what he got the red card for. I was trying to confirm that with Jonah, and if he texts me back, yes, sir, David Hayes.
From what I heard, because I know that you had said something, which so it would kind of coincide. So I don't want to take what you told us because I want you to tell us that it was for cussing out the ref.
That would make sense. Because it was either that or faking the injury, but the faking the injury didn't seem to warrant a red card unless it was just super blatant. But because he got up, and then they were about to resume play, and then all of a sudden the ref just pulls out, runs up to him, does the crossing, and then gives him the red card. But yeah, so anyway, what happened was it was a goal kick, or it was a deep ball going down from Booker T. Washington's side to Arnold's side. And one of the Arnold players, I think it might have been Stone Hatton, and a Booker T. Washington player went up for a header, and the Arnold player didn't even touch him. And the Booker T. Washington guy basically jumped up and landed like on the ground without bracing himself. So it looked like it hurt. So he was down for a while, down long enough that they had to stop play. Well, then the kid pops up all of a sudden, and he's fine, and then a few seconds later, he's getting a red card, which a red card in soccer, I don't know if you know what that means, Jay Henley.
Penalty?
Well, yeah, it is, but it means you're out. You're out of the game.
Okay.
You can get a yellow card, and 2 yellow cards equal a red. I did learn last night in high school soccer, though, if you do get a yellow card, you have to come out of the game.
Oh, wow.
Now, they sub you in, but you have to come out immediately. Because there were several yellow cards in the second half last night.
Yeah. Wow. So you're out for the rest of the game? But the difference in the red card is when you get a red card,
you're a man down.
You're a man down.
Yep, goes back to like the power play in NHL.
Yeah,
but it's for the rest of the game. So that was actually pretty crazy because that happened pretty early in the second half. So Booker T. Washington had to play most of the second half a man down. So there was still a lot of chances for Arnold to score goals, and the Booker T. Washington keeper played well. But anyway, it was just wild. So obviously when that happened, everyone in the stands, especially the student section, went nuts. But yeah, the cussing out the ref would make sense, would definitely make sense.
I just remember back in the day going to some Griffin High basketball games back in the day in the student section, and I'll hopefully have some friends listening right now remembering this, and but the whole student section, if a ref had a bad call, our student section would basically yell, "Hit him in the head with a rock, hit him in the head with it," talking about the referee, and the referee never did anything to us. But like, you do that today,
oh yeah.
Like, I think the basketball game's over with, and the visiting team probably wins, in my opinion. But
yeah, well,
we said some awful things back in the day.
I know. Like,
anyways,
yeah. Well, in college too. I mean, high school's a little different, but in college it gets dicey.
Yeah,
that's for sure. But I mean, if you're a ref, you got to have some thick skin.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Yeah,
that's for sure. But yeah, no, just a wonderful, awesome atmosphere again. If you're looking to help the team out, as they are going to be playing on Tuesday down there in DeLand, Florida, where the state championship always is, they're going to be taking on Pembroke Pines Charter Academy as the number 4 seed going into this. Pinebrook. That's a tough one.
That's down there, Fort Lauderdale. Yeah,
sure.
Down
Pembroke Pines Charter Academy, they won the Region 4 over Reagan 1-0. And then, of course, Jesuit beat Horizon in the Region 2 4-1 very handedly on that one. Jesuit's the team that not last year but 2 years ago is who Arnold played in the state final and ended up losing that one. I want to say it was 1-0. And I know Braden hit the crossbar with about 5 minutes to go in that game, so that was a heartbreaker, that's for sure. And then out of the Region 3, you had Naples really beat up Barron Collier 5-1. That's a big deficit in soccer, especially in a region final. So on Tuesday, the 27th, the first game will be number 2 seed Jesuit versus number 3 seed Naples. And then Arnold, like I said, will take on Pembroke Pines Charter Academy. That'll be at 7 p.m. Winner of those 2 games will play in the state championship on Friday, March 1st.
Jay, how did you know where that was?
What? I don't randomly. It may have been from that parking ticket I got randomly in the mail a few weeks ago or something. I'm like, I've never been to Pembroke Pines before.
Yeah, it's like over there by Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah. Anyway,
comes out of nowhere.
It comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, didn't know what the capital of Tennessee was,
right,
but you know where Pembroke Pines, Florida is.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, it's funny how it all comes across.
It's like a box of chocolates. You just never know what you're going to get.
Not with you. Each day is a new day. That's the beautiful thing about Jay Henley. You're a assortment of different things.
Now, where is this happening? Is this down in Orlando?
Is I want to say it's near like Daytona. It's not too far from Daytona.
Legoland is, I think.
Yeah. Or is Legoland in Tampa?
No, I think he's right, but I'll double check.
You would know where Legoland is. Man, interesting.
Have you been to Legoland?
No, never been.
I never have either.
No. But I heard it's awesome.
I have too.
Yeah, especially if you like to build.
Have you built? When's the last time you built some Legos?
It's been a hot minute.
Has it?
Yeah.
Liam's probably kind of getting out of that stage. Or did he ever get in that stage?
He never really got big into Legos.
I got you.
He was more into throwing the football and all that stuff.
Technically, it's in Winter Haven.
Okay.
Same area, right?
Yeah. It's the greater area there. That's for sure. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. But yes, that'll be exciting. And obviously, those will both be streaming as well, and we'll get you information on that. But as I mentioned briefly, Rutherford does play tonight in the 4A Region 1 final in girls basketball against the number 1 seed in Region 1, Bishop Kinney. Rutherford's the number 2 seed, so it played out just like it should. So I'm sure, that's over there at Bishop Kinney. There'll probably be an FSHAA streaming link if you look that up through Max Preps, or just go follow Rutherford on social media. I'm sure they'll have that if you want to take a look. We'll be reporting on that game tomorrow and the results of all that good stuff. A couple other cool local things going on, and we've got a few minutes left until the end of the break here, Jay. But did want to mention Peyton Gay's signing is also going to be on Friday, March 1st in the Bozeman Gym. He is signing with Texas A&M football. He will play football for the Aggies while majoring in agriculture. So very exciting, obviously, for him, his family, the program there at Bozeman, and of course Bozeman and all of Bay County. Anytime you have an athlete go into a SEC school or a Power 5 school, it's always a good time. So if anybody wants to go check that out, that'll be at Bozeman, at the Bozeman Gym, Friday, March 1st at 4 p.m. So some cool stuff there out of Bozeman, and congratulations to Peyton Gay.
Yes, sir.
Good stuff.
Yeah, that's really cool because he's kind of living out two dreams at the same time by going to Texas A&M. He'll be a preferred walk-on over there and have the opportunity to play football with them, but he's also going for the agricultural side of things because he's involved with the FFA and all of that good stuff. So this is really cool for Peyton Gay.
Yeah, awesome. Just awesome stuff, and it just shows, if you work hard and don't give up on your dreams, some big things can happen.
Yes.
That's for sure. That is for sure. And then last but not least, not completely rounding up the local thing, I think Jonah just texted me back, and he dropped the F-bomb. He dropped the F-bomb.
Oh,
can't do that, Jay.
No,
you're
cannot.
out. Yep. You can't even. It's not even a yellow. It's a red.
And it would make sense because I think,
why is he dropping the F-bomb?
Well, what if the ref was like, quit LeBronin or something?
Yeah, he probably did.
Or like, get up, come on.
He's like, hey, next time you do that and you fake, I don't know if you fake the injury, but milk the injury, I'm going to give you a card. And he's probably like, F this or something like that. Mm-hmm. And boom, red card came out, everybody went nuts.
How about
That's shooting yourself in the foot. That's for sure. That's putting yourself over the team.
Yeah.
That's some selfish behavior, that's for sure.
In the professional league, it should be the same way. Unfortunately, it's not, but Yeah,
a little different.
It is.
They're getting paid. They're employees, players association rights. I don't know.
I think they got a little bit more freedom with the words that they choose out there on the old pitch.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. But yeah, just a great game, intense game, a lot of fun. Last in this first little segment here, I think I need to probably buzz. He's pulling in right now, so we'll have to buzz him in here at the door in a second. That'll be Chris Fall joining us. But wanted to mention Arnold High School alumni. Arnold in the news quite a bit. Carson Dorsey, he struck out 10 batters in 3.5 innings of relief back there on Tuesday night, earning his first win pitching for Florida State. Through 3 games and 2 appearances, Dorsey leads all FSU pitchers in strikeouts, retiring 15 of his 24 total batters faced. The junior left-handed pitcher transferred from Gulf Coast State College last summer after leading the Commodores on the mound for 2 seasons. He was drafted by the Texas Rangers in the 17th round back in 2022. So cool stuff there. Jay Henley, another Arnold alum, making some waves in the Division I level of college sports. So always a good time, that's for sure. You got 2 minutes, Jay. Tell us about what you got going on here starting in March.
Oh, well, I tell you what, I think I've got 1 spot left.
Better jump quick.
No
Better
kidding.
jump quick.
March 11th, starting at 4 o'clock every Monday, all the way through May 6th.
Except the 18th.
Except the 18th, because it'll be spring break.
Smart. Everybody have their time.
Yeah, but yeah, we'll be out at Bay Point, ages 7 to 12. All ability levels welcome. But yeah, we're going to learn the game of golf. We're going to have fun, and like I said, 1 spot left. golfwithjay.com. Click on Student Clinic Booking. And that's all you got to do.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. And when we get back, we'll be joined by Chris Fall. He's going to be previewing the 2 middle school boys playoff games that get underway tonight as we move through the boys basketball and girls soccer playoffs, both starting tonight. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. We'll be right back.
The new app from 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is designed specifically for sports fanatics like you. The sports content you demand is always on. Live stream our national and local sports talk anywhere you go. Reach us on all social media. You can also be a part of the show. Call and text into our studios. Plus, up-to-the-minute weather and traffic maps. The new app from 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is available at the Apple Store and Google Play.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Thursday morning. As we head into this afternoon and evening, mostly sunshine and a high of 66 with a moderate breeze out of the south around 13 miles per hour. For tonight, a mixture of some clouds and very light showers and a low near 63. Tomorrow, partly sunny and a high around 70. This weather forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Discover Kia at Bill Bird Kia. Stop by Bill Bird Kia during the President's Day sales event going on now and drive away the new 2024 Kia. Now offering 4.25% APR up to 48 months on the purchase of a new 2024 Kia Sportage. You get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. Bill Bird Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBirdKiaPanamaCity.com. We'll treat you like family and give you the peace of mind you can trust.
Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2024 Kia Sportage with $2,267 per month per 1,000 financed at 48 months. Quantities limited. No down payment required. Cannot be combined with other finance offers. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 3/4/24.
Suffer from political talk radio fatigue? Tune into the most fun and exciting new radio show on the Gulf Coast. It's The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey. From the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios on ESPN Northwest Florida.
And Welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Our good friend Alan Sandage posted about this song this morning, which is, I don't know if David saw that or not, but perfect timing. Yeah. Little Gator boots. And this is what gets us into our talks about alligator belts.
That's right.
All that good stuff. But you are listening to the Inside Drive, and we're excited to have Chris Fall back in studio. We had him last week kind of previewing the end of the boys basketball regular season and how it all shook out. And now we're going to talk a little bit about what's going down in the middle school boys playoffs that start tonight. Maybe talk a little bit about the Rutherford game against Bishop Kenny tonight, as well as Chris is very versed in all this stuff. But Chris, how are you doing today?
I'm good, gentlemen. How are you guys?
We're fantastic. It's starting to feel ever more like spring out there.
Are you an AT&T guy or Verizon? Or?
My phone's working fine.
Is it working fine?
Yeah. I don't even know what I have. The wife signed this all up.
Yeah.
It works.
I got you. Somebody calls, you answer. That's how it works. Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. But yes, so first off, I know there was earlier this week on Tuesday, there was a matchup which was essentially a playoff game because winner made the playoffs. Tell us a little bit about that one first.
So Jenks played Mowat, and I'm sorry. Jenks played Mowat played Surfside. Had a rough night, as I shared earlier off air. Long story short, though, Mowat played Surfside. It was a 2-point game, 27-25. Came down to free throws at the end. I wasn't there. I was watching my son at BPA, but really phenomenal game from what I heard. Surfside was missing one of their starters as well.
Gotcha.
But, congratulations to Mowat, right? What a great job going and getting that last win. That's a winner-take-all game. That's pretty tough for an 8th, 7th, 6th grader to deal with.
That's a lot of pressure there. That's for sure, especially shooting free throws at the end and sounds like they made them to win the game.
I wasn't there. I understand Surfside maybe went 1 for 2. The other team then maybe finished at the line with a couple. So,
gotcha.
but I wasn't there, so I can't say that one.
No, for sure. So that drops Mowat there into that number 4 seed, and they're going to be taking on
number 1 defending undefeated champ Jenks.
Yep. Got it. Who beat Rutherford last week when we were previewing it last Thursday. So big matchup there. So that would leave Rutherford and
Bayhaven.
Yeah. Bayhaven just seems to be always sneaking in there, and that's the number 2 seed in girls soccer. Yeah. And I have a feeling we're going to be seeing Bayhaven again in the championship on Tuesday, barring everything goes like it should. But it's sports, so you never know. But these semifinal games. Talk about some of the the rising stars in some of these games and who to keep an eye out for and where you can go to watch them.
Can we start with the Lady Rams? I'm just so excited.
Let's do it. Let's dive into the Lady Rams first.
I mean, huge games in middle school, but let's call it what it is. I mean, this is the biggest game in Bay County tonight.
Absolutely.
26-1, Rutherford, right? Lady Rams. 3 seniors that have carried that team, and not saying that the rest of the team isn't fantastic with boys Shakira Edwards, Brianna Baker, Nada Kabui. Those 3 have been Bay County stalwarts and just absolute ballers on the court. So you've got 3 seniors with a lot of experience going to Bishop Kenny. Rutherford's 1 loss, right, to a 16-12 team Mainland. But if you dive into that a little bit, those girls have played at Mainland, Montverde, IMG, every big private and public school in the state of Florida. So that loss for Rutherford was very respectful. It's one of the top teams in the state that they lost to. Bishop Kenny beat that team by 10. So, tonight's game I so wish I could go.
Yeah.
It's going to be the senior experience versus just an absolute powerhouse in Bishop Kenny. And I think Rutherford has a really good shot of winning that. As a basketball guy myself, I will take the senior experience all day.
These situations, it's one thing for Bishop Kenny to beat Mainland and how good of a program, but with a trip to the Final Four on the line, definitely, hopefully that senior experience will carry them in the victory in this game.
Well, and you guys watch March Madness, right?
Yeah.
Usually a Final Four team has an experienced senior point guard.
Yep.
Yeah. There's 2 or 3 that are running the 1, 2, and 3 over at Rutherford for the Lady Rams. They're just going to be absolutely solid. I so wish I could go to that game.
Jacksonville, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I was going to ask, those 3 that are seniors, are they going to move on to the next level, or is this could potentially be their last game?
Well, I know Shakira and Monica have already signed. I apologize. I don't know Brianna. Okay. I would assume she has, but I don't know who that third is.
Shakira is the one going to Mississippi State, right? Yeah.
I got you.
And they're probably a good possibility. I would think so. We can look that up and find out for you.
But just to sum up, we always talk about Bay County dominance, right? Who's the best high school? If you go and look at the scores of Rutherford versus Bay Arnold, and Mosley. It's about a 45-point difference average for the entire year. There was not a close game. So incredible props to the Lady Rutherford Rams and coach over there. I mean, they've really got it going on, and the senior class is special. I'm really hoping they make that run all the way.
Yeah, that would be special for Bay County, that's for sure. Like we talked about last week, I mean, it's certainly pretty cool when you have programs like Rutherford girls basketball, like Arnold soccer, that are going so deep into the state tournament, and just the pride you feel is, we're in the county, we're part of it, and it's just fun to see, and fun to see some of these special athletes and what they can do. So definitely good luck to the Lady Rams this evening, and I'm sure you'll be able to stream it somewhere to watch the game.
Yeah, if you go to the Lady Rams page, I think they already have the stream up on Facebook, or where you can watch the game. But a couple of other basketball stalwarts in this town have posted it. Key and Jamal and those guys. There's links all over Facebook. Just go find it.
And it says 7 p.m. on Max Prep, so I'm assuming that's 6 p.m. Central Time.
I'm right there with you. I hope so.
Yeah, you never know.
I'm tuning in.
Yeah, you never know these time zones and how they all play out. But yeah, so good luck to the Lady Rams, and hopefully they can get the dub. And I think if they get over that Bishop Kinney Hunt, there might be another opportunity, because you've got the Region 2, you've got Lakeland Highland Prep going against Palm Bay. In Region 4, you got the Sports Leadership Academy versus or Sports Leadership and Management. That's an interesting name for a high school. You got them playing the Somerset Academy, and then over there in Region 2, you got Lakewood versus Booker. So we'll have 4 teams remaining after tonight, and we'll see how it all shakes out. But yeah, let's pivot back to the middle school side of basketball and all that good stuff.
You touched on it earlier. The Bayhaven Rutherford game is really the one that has my eye, and the one that I'm gonna go watch 2 out of the 2. I mean, props to all 4 teams, but Bayhaven really hasn't been here before. Rutherford's a first-year school, so the nerves will probably be high for both of those teams. Rutherford won the first one. It was pretty tight. Rutherford's got them at home, so they should advance, but Bayhaven's been a wild card all year, and I'm really thinking that's going to be a pretty close game, and people just don't know. On the other side, phenomenal job by Moa getting in, but they are going against defending champ Jenks. Very tough team, a lot of guys back, a lot of team basketball. So I don't want to call any picks, but I am expecting a rematch, although I'm not too sure about the Bayhaven Rutherford game. That's going to be tough.
It looks like Jenks is, statistics and his history says that Jenks has got a pretty good shot at winning that game, but the other one could go either way, kind of from what you're saying.
That's my educated guess.
Yeah, no, I like it. I like it. That's some good stuff there. And again, we talked about it last week, but if new people are listening this week, talk about some of the superstars on these middle school programs.
Yeah, and let's start with the kids that aren't in the BDS system. We have some kids that play at charter schools or some other spots, and they deserve recognition too. One that I'm just super high on. I've coached him before. He's playing with some other guys now, but just a phenomenal kid is Evan Rodriguez. Evan is a 7th grader going to 8th at Bozeman, but he played JV for Bozeman. Like, if he would have been on that middle school team, I guarantee you that their results would have been different.
Yeah, yeah.
So, Evan is a 7th grader going into 8th, is playing JV at Bozeman. Whew. I saw him drop 30 in a game, or I think 32 against Bozeman, or against Blountstown. Went up to watch him in support. Just really super kid. Phenomenal athlete, and he's one guy to definitely keep your eye. Like, Bozeman basketball's in good hands going forward. Yeah, he's going to be a heck of a player there at the high school level. He already is.
Yeah.
Up in Chipley, there's a kid named MJ Yeager. Same deal. 8th grade, he's playing varsity.
Yeah, and their team, they got a shot. They're still alive.
And he plays for Graceville. He lives in Chipley.
Gotcha.
But they had a good season at Graceville. But another kid, 8th grade, dropping 10, 15, 20 points at the varsity level. That's pretty impressive. And then the last one over in Blountstown, Jensen Lee is a really solid player as well. Played JV. He's averaging 15 to 20. He's the engine. He's the point guard. Great player. So those 3 I just want to give shout outs.
That's what we're here for.
They're not the district school, family. But in this game again, we talk about, let's start with Rutherford and Bay. Amarian is that 6'4" guard that just makes it go. We talked about him. I think Jake solved that, put a defender on him, and maybe did a box and one. I didn't get to go to the game, so I didn't see it. It's like we talked about last week. I think, again, even this game, Rutherford and Jenks are probably going to hold back a little bit and save everything until next Tuesday. For Bayhaven, though, their youth and the core players they have there really is going to be a problem for Rutherford. If they can figure out how to slow down Amarian and Jaleel inside, I think it's going to be I'm going to that game out of the two. So that's the one I'm excited to go see.
4 p.m.?
Yeah, and the higher seeds are at home. So both Jenks and Rutherford are the home venues, and I definitely get there a little bit early like we talked about last week. It's going to be pretty busy in there. Although the Rutherford gym's pretty good size.
Yeah, it is. It is a big gym.
Yeah. But talking about 6th and 7th graders that I've seen, I mean, there's just a lot in town. I don't know how many segments we have, but I could just go on and on. I am so excited about the future of basketball here. 8th grade class is phenomenal, but I'm not even going to name the schools. Easton Kellum at Jenks is pretty rock solid. And they've got some other kids there that have scored 50, 60 points this season, which is pretty good for an 8-game season with a team that's deep. Down at Surfside, there's a couple of guys there. Gage Phillips, I think, has really good handles as an early good guard. There's a boy named Ethan Bishop that just has gotten started in basketball. Kid's a dog, man. He's everything a coach wants, in terms of getting after the ball as a big. So he's a great player, too. Over at Bay Haven, there's a guy there named Kanoa Kalama. I think he's going to be an absolutely great big going forward. Getting a lot of work, plays a lot of great travel. He was with SES with us starting, I think, like in kindergarten, but I'm excited to see what Kanoa does as well. Covenant Christian School, there's a boy named Tristan Gaitis. If you know the Gaitis name here in Panama City, they've been in basketball for decades. Tristan's the next Gaitis coming, and it's already got his nickname, Little Larry. The kid can play. In fact, Tristan's representing Southern Elite Sports on Saturday in a 3-point shootout final against Jensen from Blountstown at the halftime of Chipola and Gulf Coast. So come out to that game, too. That's going to be a great game.
You guys are doing it at the halftime? That's awesome.
Yeah, put a little pressure on them, right?
No, absolutely.
I've been to a couple of the Gulf Coast games where they put on the halftime show. It's really good stuff.
Yeah, that's
really
going to be cool.
And David, this is cool. Like, it's going to be a 3-point finalist for 4th, 5th, and 6th, 8th from our All-Star game. So
I really want to be there, but I got a wedding to go to.
I got you.
Stupid Max.
We can wait. But no, Tristan had the highest score in our semifinals. Put up 17 in a round. So kid can shoot.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But no, just going down the line. I mean, there's just so many. I'm going to miss a ton, but there's just so many talented 6th and 7th graders that are coming up. We talked about Rye Jackson last week.
Yeah.
At Breakfast Point, there's a kid named Wyatt, Johnny Petronas. Those guys are going to be 8th graders and leading that team next year. I don't know much about Bozeman's squad there in terms of their young. I only saw them once. They had a rough season, but you just look all across Bay County, and not just in SES, but on travel team. I mean, I'm telling you, 6th and 7th grade is coming. Brent and I had a goal. Brent Dillard, when we got together in 2018 and really started talking hoops after Michael, what can we do to get a state championship at any school at 20. So we're like, well, we can't coach, that's already locked in, but let's go ahead and get the youths going as much as we can. And I really think it's starting to translate.
Yeah, you're putting kids in the high school programs that are ready and that can impact those programs immediately and, all the development and that good stuff.
Well, and I know in golf, if an 8th grader is playing a varsity sport, they can play regular season games, but when you get to a post-game or post-whatever region tournament, they can't play. I wonder if that's the same in basketball. I wonder if an 8th grader, I know there's all kinds of regulations in Florida High School Association.
It's crazy. So they have the 6-quarter rule. You can only play 6 quarters between JV and varsity, but you can't do middle school like Evan that we talked about.
Yeah.
I know he would have loved to play that middle school season.
Oh, man. Bozeman, I would have loved to have watched him.
I don't know if you guys saw that story. Did you see in Alabama, one of the top teams in the state got disqualified for an 8th grader basically playing about 15 minutes in garbage time during the season?
Unbelievable.
One of the top seeds in Alabama. And the only reason I know this is some of their guys play for our older travel team.
Gotcha.
But long story short, those guys, they just lost their whole season over a coach's mistake. So I think the coaches around here are definitely erring on the side of caution. There's not going to be any issues as we get close to the postseason. Little Johnny doesn't need that extra time.
Yeah, definitely. That's wild. Yeah. There's just some crazy rules. You just wonder where they come out. And why let an 8th grader play during the regular season in golf, but then if you make the postseason, he can't? Just either don't let him play or let him play.
Yeah.
That's just wild. Obviously, if that 8th grader is good enough to make, your top 5 or whatever it is, and they're an impact of the team, then that can be such a detriment, especially in golf when you're counting 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
So that's a huge deal. to not let them play. And just some of these rules are just wild.
It is. And then, like, coaches can't talk to kids, postseason until a certain date and all that kind of stuff. I mean,
well, it works out that you do some instructional programs out there at Bay Point Golf Club, and you dub as the Bay Point golf coach.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. But, I mean, even
we'll keep
basketball.
That on the down low so you don't get in trouble, please.
Yeah. I don't need the FHSAA coming after me.
I know, right? We'll bring them in. But yeah. So let me ask you this, Chris, and we may bleed into the next segment because it may be a long topic of conversation. But you've got a kid on one of the middle school teams, and maybe not the super developed, really good athlete and player like some of the kids you've mentioned. What are some of the things you would recommend to do, to get yourself into position to be able to make an impact on some of these middle school teams, which hopefully translates in the future to high school?
Well, and I think basketball is a little different than other sports. Like the kid that's the last guy on the bench can be the starter next year. Yeah. It's a lot easier, I think, to overcome that in maybe basketball and football as you get bigger, hit your growth spurts, all that good stuff. So I see that a lot where the last kid on the bench gets better at the ends. But for me, the players that have progressed the most that I have coached, you can tell, like we talked about last week, they're putting in extra work. I mean, if you have the money, you can get the trainers and do all that. That's great, but it's so expensive. It's $35-$50 an hour for most good trainers in most sports, right? So can get off work at 5, go do 3 hours of training, do that for it. So that's not very realistic in my point. But if you can pull it off, absolutely do it. But I think playing in leagues helps a lot. I think a lot of the kids I've seen that have gotten better pretty quick are not watching the NBA and dropping volleyball threes like Curry. They're looking at YouTube and looking at basic video drills or handle drills. And Instagram has that stuff so much in your feed for whatever sport you're playing. So that's encouraging for me. I see a lot of my guys like looking at videos or, coach, what can I work on for my left hand? What can I do with my off ball? And that's what's really cool. So a lot of it's the kids, but specifically what can you do? Play a lot, practice a lot, get out in the driveway, grab your friends, go to the park and play. I mean, just get reps and get that confidence. That's a big thing for me. A lot of kids, when you watch middle school, I'm sure you've seen this.
Yeah.
Maybe some of the 6th and 7th graders get their first minutes. They get out there, they catch it, they just immediately want to throw it to someone else. Yeah. So, like, just teaching them to square up and face the basket. Yeah. So those things is you can't get unless you're in a game rep and you get over those nerves, in my opinion.
Definitely.
Big reason why I think travel is so important. These kids, not so much the W's and L's, but they're playing all over the country against really good basketball players. So when they go back and play, a home game against Mosley or Bay or Arnold, it's like, I've been down this road many times.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
To me, that's a big part of it. Basketball, probably golf too, right? Like the nerves on that first tee shot if you're 6th and 7th grade.
Oh, yeah. That's crazy.
My junior golf career was one tournament at Indian Hills Country Club. Kid in front of me hits about 180 down the middle. I'm next. I hit it 10 yards into the fence, grabbed my bag, said, Dad, this is not my game. It's a true story. I played one golf tournament as a kid, as a youth. Yeah. Tee shot went in the fence and I was rattled. I'm like, done.
Yeah. It's like I'm trying to sign up for U.S. Open qualifier right now, and there's a course in Georgia I'm looking at, and I'm like, okay, what does number 1 look like? Is there water to the right? I mean, even as an adult, you're looking at that.
Well, and that's how mental golf is,
it
right?
Is.
We're already trying to figure out how to have your best opportunity to hit that first tee shot.
Yep.
And we talk about it on the show all the time and how mental the game of golf is. And that's where, and I don't know on the basketball side, like on the golf side, we have some really good, like Phil Shomo. He's one of the top guys in the Southeast on the mental side of things, worked with a lot of Division I college golf programs and stuff like that. Is that something that bleeds over into basketball as well? Or is it more, less mental side of things? Because then obviously it's apples and oranges when you're comparing the nerves. But is that something that, you're starting to see a little bit in the sport?
Well, that's a great question. I think a big part of it is the opponent, right? So, like, if you play at Bay or Arnold or Mowat or Rutherford and you're playing your local rival, you're going to get up for that game. The nerves go. You're more excited than nervous.
Yes.
What I see, which I think is, for lack of a better word, really cute, is when you walk into these big gyms like the Big House in Tavares or Wesley Chapel in Tampa or ESPN, when we go to these big tournaments, and seeing the first-time players walking, there's like 3,000 people in there watching. We played at Ball on the Beach last year in Miami. It's 39 courts. There's like 6,000 people in there. So it was fun watching my guys that were all tough in a local gym in Foley walking into Miami and seeing 6th, 7th, 8th graders like, we playing them? Yep.
Yeah, and that's how you got to do it.
So that's the thing, right? I think the nerves is more about getting into your game quickly. Like, let's not worry about them. Let's run our stuff.
Yeah.
Let's not worry what they do. Let's dictate that tempo in that game. So I think you see that, but the older they get, the less nerves that are there because they've been down that road. But
Yeah.
I love watching the 6th and 7th graders. The first time they step on the middle school court in their uniform, they are so geeked. It's
I
great.
saw it. I mean, our little bucks up in middle school,
Let's take a quick break and we'll continue this conversation because I like where we're going. You're listening to The Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. We'll be right back.
Your home for college basketball. ESPN Northwest Florida.
This Saturday, it's a college basketball doubleheader as the Washington Huskies travel to the McHale Memorial Center in Tucson to take on the Wildcats of Arizona. Coverage starts at 12:30. Then, your number 14th ranked Auburn Tigers are in Athens to battle the Georgia Bulldogs. Coverage starts at 4:30, tip-off at 5. On your home for college basketball on the Gulf Coast.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hey there, business owners. Do you feel lost in a sea of numbers, struggling to navigate your day-to-day accounting? At Lighthouse CPAs, they specialize in guiding businesses to make more money and keep more of what you make. From bookkeeping to tax planning, they've got you covered. Plus, with their user-friendly software, managing your finances has never been easier. Spend less time on paperwork and more time growing your business. Call Lighthouse CPAs 850-785-5254.
Hey folks, Chris Kramer with Bill Kramer GM. And the best place to listen to the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey is inside a brand new vehicle from Bill Kramer GM. And I want you to know we've got 10 times the amount of inventory on the ground as we did this time last year, and darn near all of them are discounted. So shop us online at BillKramerGM.com or visit us at the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd. We'll make it easy and take great care of you.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
Starting fresh.
Fresh new start.
Locally sourced, Farm to Radio. The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey is live and local. From the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios. On ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back to 90s R&B Thursday. We got Chris Fall in studio, Jay Henley across the table, our director of instruction out there at Bay Point Golf Club, DJ Davey Crockett behind the glass, rocking the Atlanta Braves hat today, bringing it kind of back to little normalcy. Normalcy is probably not the right word, but you know what I mean.
My team. It's like, oh, why is he wearing his own team stuff there? But I wonder how Biggie would feel about you calling that R&B.
Rap.
Yeah, I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing with you.
I don't know. We should get him on the show now.
There we go. Yeah. I'll work on that. You got
Make some calls.
Or something?
Make some calls. Yeah, there you go. There you go. But we are talking basketball here in studio, having a great time. 2 big games coming up tonight. But, Chris, you were talking a little bit about travel ball and some of the things that get involved with that and, you know, some of these programs that you've won up against and stuff like that. But one of the big things you had mentioned there, and kind of I was thinking about, you know, you coach travel ball, you've got some great teams, and you go to some huge tournaments all throughout the country. You know, how do you let the kids not get starstruck, for lack of a better term? You said you're going into these gyms that got 6,000 kids and some of the top travel ball teams from around the country, and they're dunking and they're 6'8", 6'10", and you know, it's some of these kids probably never seen anything like that. So how do you keep them focused on what their task is and not letting the moment get too big for them?
Well, to start with, I'm right there with them, looking at the 6'7" kid dunking, and it's like, oh my God, we got some issues today.
Yeah.
You know, like we talked on off air, I think that the reps are huge. Like, after you see those teams 4, 5, 7, 10 times, you're kind of not dead into it, but you know what you're expecting. A lot of times you see a kid that big at that age, he's there for height. He's not a fluid athlete and someone that can really attack, but there are some really special kids out there. But no, to give you an example, so like for Balling on the Beach down in Miami that we talked about, one of the things that was surreal is we were in the middle of a 3-point game. I think I was with the 8th grade team last year. And the game stops, and this huge wave of people just starts walking through every court. And I'm not talking the sideline, like walking through center court of these 39 courts at Broward County Convention Center. I turned to a kid named Trey Mitchell. I'm like, who is that guy? And he's like, oh, he's a social media influencer. My guy who's in the game leaves the bench, gets his phone to go take a picture with this guy with like 3,000 other people. So I turn to the ref. I'm like, are we stopping the game for this guy? He goes, oh, it happens every year. Wait till Rajon Rondo or one of the other guys walks through. I'm like, okay, well, cool environment. So those kinds of things are a little bit of a circus, too. I mean, there's that ball on the beach. There was at least 10, 15 NBA players, ton of college coaches, ton of retired NBA players. It was a really cool vibe. But I think once a kid goes through one or two of those tournaments, and I hate to say it, we get our butts kicked by a team that's just absolutely huge or just that much better than us, which is okay, and that happens. That helps, too. And also, I remember our very first year of travel, the rapper Migos. Yeah. Or I guess R&B, right, Dave?
Easy.
So he had a team Huncho, with one of the guys there. So they had in Atlanta, you just say that the rapper's going to the tryout. They had like 1,200 kids at their tryouts for 2H division. 600 kids going out for basketball. I mean, we get stoked when 40 or 50 show up for tryouts.
That's all another ball game.
So where I'm going with that is we saw that team, and it was our very first ever year in travel. I think like 5th grade, and then they won 70-7.
Yeah,
the guys are hanging their heads. I'm like, don't worry, this is where we'll be in 3 or 4 years.
No, you got to start there. Yeah,
that.
No, 100%.
So for me, it's also you got to take some humble pie every now and then and lose some to really get better. You're not doing yourself a service if you play tournaments where you just know you can beat everyone. So we always look to go play teams we haven't played, markets we haven't been in. Like our team this year, our organization, the Warriors, our 10th grade team's really good. Our 2026, they're going to be playing in like Dallas, Indianapolis, Grand Rapids, Atlanta. I mean, just all over representing us nationally on the Puma NXT tour. I'm in 8th grade, and thank God financially we only have to go to 3 of them. So we're going to like Monroe, Cincinnati, and then Omaha for the national championship. But these travel organizations are just absolutely wonderful for the kids' development, and we're not the only ones. The Impact do a good job. There was the Gulf Coast Thunder last year, and there's different levels, I think, of talent on those teams. We might be more developmental in 5th, and another team's better, or another group, but that's the great thing about having all these opportunities. It's not just our organization, Impact. Get out there. There's so many. I've never seen basketball this good in this town with this many people trying to get kids better.
That's
really
awesome.
Cool.
It's a testament to what you and a lot of other people in this county are making happen.
I'm serious. There's so many. I could go on for hours on how many coaches and people. And let's give a shout out to I'm just this generation or this decade of Bay County basketball, but like there's some OGs out there. Timothy Scooter Brown, J.C. Carlisle, Marcus Rulak. They had the original Stingrays team that had like Randy Pippen, and those guys were straight ballers. Like, when we started in 5th grade, all my kids looked up to that team like, oh my gosh, those guys are really good. So
that's awesome. And that's an important part of the development and keeping sports strong is, once you get to that position where you're, in high school or whatever, and you're having all that success, or even on, the older travel levels and stuff like that, it's almost like it's, obviously it's one of our responsibilities as coaches to help develop and all that, but I think it's also falls on some of those older kids' shoulders as well to make sure that they are helping give back to the game that's given them so much, and these kids coming through the rank. Because what does that mean more when one of these superstars that you're watching out playing on the court says something to you, or comes to a game, or comes to a practice? I mean, that's what it's all about. So, it's cool to see that, like you said, some of these OGs are, it's coming full circle, and, they're involved with the up-and-comers, so to speak.
Yeah, there's an org called the PCF Ballers that have been around here forever, one of the oldest ones, and Marcus Rulak's like one of my favorite guys in the gym because his team just aged out, like their varsity.
Yeah.
Marcus, come on, man, let's recycle with the 3rd grade. No, I'm not interested. See him 2 weeks later. You still got that team available? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you get out of it. You're like, nope, I got to get right back in.
Once it's in your blood, it never leaves.
Yeah, no.
But I mean, a big shout out and props to those guys because they're the ones that really started the travel scene back here. And as far as I know, I've lived here 25 years now. But Marcus, Scooter, those guys, they've done a phenomenal job setting the table, and we're just carrying it all on.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's one of those other things, too. You got to keep that torch passing along because all it takes is one generation's probably not the right word, but one group to not pick it up, and things can change drastically, that's for sure. But really, really cool to see what you're doing. I want to get back to a point you said about, getting your butt kicked and losing. And we talk about this quite a bit, Jay, especially on the golf side of things. And I think it's one of those things that, and a lot of kids this day and age, it's the instant gratification gamification world that we live in. But you've got to lose to learn how to win.
Yeah.
And it sounds like, look at Arnold Soccer. Look at, like you were just talking about with the team that Bishop Kennebec, was it Mainland?
Yeah.
They schedule the hardest schedule they can possibly schedule. One, because if they get the job done, that's going to put them where they need to be. But also at the same time, if you're playing the best of the best, when it goes down to these games that matter and the pressure, I mean, you're going to be ready for it. But on the flip side of that, which you mentioned, when, you get absolutely bamboozled and stuff like that, that's part of growth in sports. And, I always reference back to Rory McIlroy hitting it left on 10 at Augusta National when he had the lead and ended up going to lose, and then he won, I think, 3 majors in the next 2 years. In my opinion, that's what I tell our kids in flag football all the time. And, when we were in the beginning, it's the same way. We were getting absolutely smashed. But I said, you got to learn to lose first, because you don't respect winning until you learn how to lose.
Yeah, 100%. I have a super cool story to tell about that too. So, in travel, right, there's different age groups for every sport, 9 under, 10 under, or by grade, however you do it. So we were at a tournament in Pensacola, and last year's 9th grade team, which is our 2026, for whatever reason, 2 guys had to leave on Sunday. So we only had 4. So Coach Jamie said, hey, can I get some of the 7th graders to play? Yeah, sure. So we gave him 2 guys. So we have 7th graders playing in 9th. And they won the championship. And this goes back to how cool I think travel is. Like, so they're in the championship game, and my 2 7th graders definitely contributed to Jamie's 9th grade team.
Yeah.
And this kid named Preston Elliott, we talked about him last week. So in that tournament, on Sunday, in the championship of the gold final, the 9th graders are absolutely dominating, doing their thing. It's a very close game against a team from Mississippi, and Preston hits a 3 to pretty much ice it or give us a 2 or 3 point lead with 2 seconds left. So seeing this skinny white kid from Laurel Hill just getting absolutely lifted up and MVP and everyone yelling like that is the moment. I have it on video, but that kind of stuff, I think, in terms about building your confidence and playing and not being afraid and getting better, like that moment for Preston, he's never going to forget that.
No.
And he's going to pull that shot if he needs to in the future, because he had that opportunity in that one game.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's just what's so amazing about sports, is sports always presents some kind of opportunity with the challenges you're faced. And sometimes, it doesn't work out in your favor, and then sometimes it does. But when it does happen, just like that, I mean, just a moment like that, that will, like you said, he will never forget that moment. And just that single moment in that game will mean so much for the rest of his basketball career. That's for sure.
Cool.
That is for sure. Yeah, absolutely. But, and that's another one of those things too, is I was thinking about when you were talking about it, with confidence. Confidence is so key for middle school. Is that something that you guys can teach, or is that one of those things where it becomes an aha moment for a kid, or are you seeing a lot more kids this day and age just coming up with a lot more confidence and cockiness, I guess, for lack of a better term?
That's a great question. I think a big part of it is the coach, the parent, the teammates. It's all what your culture is.
Yeah.
I don't like cocky kids. When we play them, I want to put them down. Yeah. And there's no other way to put it. But the kids that scare me are the ones that are just warming up, not saying a word. They're very focused. They're very intense. So the confidence level, I think, comes again with the experience and playing all these games. But I've also learned, too, that you can be a negative detriment as a coach.
Yeah.
If you get in, you've got to figure out at what age do you really start getting into them.
Yeah.
You want a positive build-up in those younger developmental years. You start getting to 6th, 7th, 8th. I mean, I've chewed some butt, like, hey, where's this side of coach? I'm like, unacceptable. You've been playing 4 years. You know this better. But at the same time, if you go too heavy on that, then the kid loses the confidence of pulling the shot or setting the screen. So for me, it's a really difficult line. And in the beginning part of me coaching travel, it was, let's just have fun, let's enjoy this. But as we get older, like, no, you guys are really trying to get to college. You're trying to play high school ball. We've got to dial in more. We've got to get more strict as a team. Yeah. So that for me is the challenge. How far do you push?
Yeah.
And can you beat up that confidence? I absolutely think you can. Coaches have a very, I don't know what the right word is. A lot of the kids look up to their coaches as more than just a coach. So you got to keep that in mind too, right? Like, this is just a basketball game at the end of the day.
Yep.
So
it's definitely a balance, that's for sure. And it's like you talk about all the time, Jay. I mean, some of your coaches you had, growing up, you remember those more than you remember your teachers or stuff like that. And if there's a coach that really had an impact on you, in a positive manner, I mean, and people, you never end that relationship either. And that's just what's cool about mending the coach world with sports and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, And that's something too that's tricky in this day and age, right? With the oversensitivity of everything and everybody getting offended by stuff. How does that bleed into these kids coming up into this stuff? And when is the right time to? And you start to see it a little bit more. And I was talking about this the other day. And when you have a team of athletes, obviously you're going to have better athletes. It's just the nature of the team and the sport. But it seems like too, the ones that are the better athletes and the ones that are putting the work in and all that seem to get criticized more by a coach because they know that criticism can help develop them and get better. Where you have the kids on kind of maybe a little lesser tier, and I mean that as nice as possible, that you're going to see more of the great try, that was so close, and balancing that too has got to be another aspect of it. And that's something and your athlete and your kid needs to understand, if they're not used to being criticized like that, and always when you have a kid that's really good coming up, they're always talked about how good they are and all that, and then you can get to a coach where it's going to push them a little harder and dig into them a little bit because that's beneficial. And that's another part of coaching, I think, is a very important, again, balance and line to watch, because you're doing it because you care and you want that player to get better because you know where they are as developmenting in their career.
Yeah. And you guys, I'm sure, have touched on this as coaches yourselves, but in today's day and age, too, the parents have a big voice in the athletic level, be it high school, middle school, travel, all that good stuff. And we're super lucky in our travel org. We've had a great group of parents, but I will say over the years, there's some players that we don't play with anymore because of the parent. And as terrible as that is to say, it is the reality of what it is.
Yeah.
And I think the kids also feed off that too. It's not because I'm a Chiefs fan, but you look at today's society, right? If someone beats you, it wasn't they beat you, it was the refs. And I see that so much in sports. We played a tournament down in Gaines. We beat this team by 32 points. And he's like, you had the refs in your back pocket. We beat you by 32 points. No offense. You scored 4 in the second half. It wasn't the refs.
No, it can't impact that. That's for sure. We got our top of the hour break, Chris, coming up. Always great conversation. One more time before we jump on that break. What are the two playoff games coming up tonight, and where are they at?
At 4 o'clock, both higher seeds have the home game. You're going to see Mowat going as the number 4 seed to play number 1 defending champ Jenks at the Hornets' Nest. And then over at Rutherford, they're going to be hosting Upstart Bayhaven, which should be a really great game. That's the one I'm going to be at, so say hi if you get a chance.
There you go. Go support those middle school basketball teams. You guys are listening to The Inside Drive. When we get back, it'll be time for Afternoon Delight Debrief. Jay Henley's got a couple stories for us. If he doesn't, he better find this time to search them up. We'll be right back.
Take ESPN Northwest Florida with you everywhere you go.
Anytime, anyplace, anywhere.
The Sports Talk and live play-by-play doesn't have to end when you get out of the car. The ESPN Northwest Florida app streams your favorite Sports Talk hosts and the biggest games in ultra-high fidelity.
This is of utmost importance in travel.
Take the Sports Talk monster with you anywhere you go. Available for Android and iPhone.
Use it anywhere or any place.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Thursday morning. As we head into this afternoon and evening, mostly sunshine and a high of 66 with a moderate breeze out of the south around 13 miles per hour. For tonight, a mixture of some clouds and very light showers and a low near 63. Tomorrow, partly sunny and a high around 70. This weather forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Hi folks, I'm Tracy from Tracy's Fine Jewelry. Shopping for the perfect diamond can be difficult, but that's why I've trained my staff to offer you a stress-free diamond experience. Me and my I Do crew have 50 years experience, and we have more certified diamonds in stock at the best prices in town. So if you're tired of high-pressure salespeople, come see me, your diamond girl, and my I Do crew at Tracy's Fine Jewelry, because we don't work on commissions. We work for smiles and I Do's.
WPLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX Lynn, powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
For The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey and Jay Henley.
This man is destroying golf.
Broadcasting live from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine and Outdoor Studios.
You may be right, but our ratings are up and we're attracting new youthful sponsors.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Sky rockets in flight. Afternoon delight.
And welcome back. You're listening to The Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. This is always the time I like to give a big shout out to our studio sponsor. That's Bill Kramer Chevrolet, Buick GMC, and Kramer Marine and Outdoor. You can check them out there right on the corner of Frankfurt Ave and 23rd Street. Lots of new vehicles in stock. Still doing that scratch and dent sale, despite not everything being scratched and dent. So huge opportunity if you're looking for a new vehicle. Now is the time to get it. Spring is right around the corner. Just don't get black because you'll see that yellow pollen on there. Unless you're just a habitual car washer.
Right.
But they say that's not good for the paint. I don't know.
Do OCD people, like, do they go white cars so that they can, like, clean it every day? Or,
I don't know. That's a good question.
You know, I don't know. I'm just curious.
I start getting my kids to wash my car.
Right. They're
the ones that make it. They've done it one time.
Yeah.
Unsolicited.
I remember.
They had to get I think they just wanted to climb up on the roof and do some fun stuff.
Right.
But yeah, go check out Bill Kramer GM, and while you're there, check out Kramer Marine and Outdoor. If you need a boat, you want to it's about to be that time. The water is warming up, the temperature is warming up, and the fishing will continue to get hot. As it is really all year round down here. It's just how much are you willing to bundle up when you get out there on the water. But get yourself a new boat, get your boat fixed up, get your engine repowered, whatever it may be. Or if you're done and you don't want a boat anymore, they'll sell it for you and put some cash in your pocket. That's Bill Kramer GM and Kramer Marine and Outdoor. All right, day 4 of the Afternoon Delight debrief. And you had mentioned that 100.1 had also talked about the antique story from the other day that David Hayes brought to the table.
They did. I listened to it. It was about 7:58 this morning on the radio
Copycats.
show. So, yeah.
Copycats. We were first with that.
We copied someone else first.
That is true. Hey,
right.
Imitation, the greatest form of flattery.
Yeah.
Whew.
Oh,
Vaseline. It's important.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Well, some guy's dad woke up in the year 1985 this morning with no cell phone service.
My birth year.
Yeah, yep.
That's topical.
Ocho Cinco.
Yep. I just missed that opportunity.
So Jay Allen, this is on Facebook.
Yep.
Jay Allen starts his day. My day started with my dad calling me to tell me he had sauce, SAUCE, on his phone, and it wasn't working. And he couldn't get it off. And we were 20 minutes into troubleshooting before I realized he was saying SOS. Whatever that means.
Yep.
Software something. I don't know.
Really?
Is it software?
It being software? No, SOS.
What? It's SOS is in I need help.
Yes.
Help. Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But iOS. I'm thinking of iOS.
That's the operating system that Apple uses.
Okay. SOS.
Continue.
All right.
Read all the funny things.
The hashtags?
Yes. That's actually the story. You just use the hashtags.
Hashtag. I asked all of the wrong questions. How long has the sauce been on the phone, Dad? He said he just woke up and was on there, and it was on there. I said, what did you eat last night? He said he had chicken. I said, was it barbecue? And he said, nope, fried. Then we started talking about the new chicken bowls at Bojangles. Oh, Bojangles. Love it.
Bowberry biscuits.
Yeah. I asked what color is the sauce. He said white sauce. I was troubleshooting for 10 minutes before I said I might not be the sauce has an outage. Outage? Yeah. He said, that must be what this SOS means. I can't get this time back. Count your days, AT&T. And one day we're going to pass these genes on to an innocent child.
Yeah. Well, and I'll give you a little pass on that because that was a lot of that story was all written in hashtags, all as one word. So you had to do a little deciphering there as well.
That's true.
But yeah, basically his dad had called him and it was had sauce on the phone. And the outage happened this morning and he was thinking it was real sauce and he was trying to dive into the reason for the sauce and why you just couldn't wipe the sauce off. off your phone, but turns out a lot of people woke up to that SOS being up there, which means I need help. But when they put the SOS up there instead of what your normal like LTE or whatever it may be is, you still have the ability to make emergency calls if you needed to, hence the SOS.
SOS. Yeah.
But I'm sure there's lots of other funny stories out there, when you work with some people, in the older generations that have not been around technology as much as us in the younger generations, that things can get a little confusing and dicey. That's why a lot of times when you go home for the holidays, the younger folk are just doing IT work the whole time.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Especially if you're unless you got the old jitterbug with the big buttons there, and it's easy to see.
Right. The old jitterbug.
You know the jitterbug.
I do.
They still make it.
Yeah.
It's your iPhone, though. You can make everything really big.
You got to have it.
Yeah.
The older you get, your vision just becomes not so good.
Yep.
For whatever reason. I haven't figured that one out yet. But
wear and tear.
Wear
like
and tear.
Car, right?
That's right.
Eventually, you got to change those tires.
Yep.
Yeah. NASCAR.
Yeah.
Do you got another one, or you want to kick it to David? And then
I've got another one, but
let's kick it to David first, and then we'll see how we go with this one and go from there.
I think the best way to attempt this one is, instead of me trying to paraphrase it, I'm just going to read the article. So this is from KFOR. It's written by Michael Baratramo and Casey Sloan. All right, a man was arrested Tuesday in Florida for allegedly attempting to surf in his pickup truck on a closed beach. Earlier this week, the Volusia County Sheriff's Office shared footage of a driver operating his truck in the ocean at New Smyrna Beach after having accessed the area without paying the proper tolls. The driver also drove around the closed gate and a sign reading "Do Not Enter," according to the Sheriff's Office. In the video, and you can watch this on KFOR.com, the truck can be seen driving up and down the beach in the water with waves slamming the side of the vehicle and at times sloshing over the roof. Body cam footage later shows the suspect, identified by police as Jason Bruskevich, offering an excuse to a deputy while seated on the beach. He says, "It's not my fault the truck don't serve." Fantastic, one deputy can be heard saying. That'll make the Facebook page today. He was charged for failing to pay an access fee to bring his vehicle on the beach. According to the Sheriff's Office, county records show a man by the name of Jason was also booked into the Volusia County Jail on Wednesday with charges of possession of a controlled substance without a prescription and paraphernalia. Another great Florida man story. My truck don't surf.
Yeah, and that last part of the story makes it make a little more sense, that's for sure.
David, was that a Chevy Silverado Skeeter?
Yeah, that was
the new one. Yeah, absolutely.
It looked like
the amphibious truck.
It looked like it might have been a Dodge trying to dodge the waves out there, but it just didn't work.
Interesting. And I think I saw that, but didn't realize that he was actually trying to surf in the truck. It's a lot of weight that the waves have to push.
Bro, come on, man.
That's
you got some good old drugs, bro.
Yeah. Hey,
unbelievable.
You don't know what's going on. He was trying to surf in his truck.
If you think you've seen it all,
you never have. You never will.
Never say I've seen it all.
Because it's not true.
Because it's not true.
It's just a straight up lie.
That's right.
But yeah, and you see, you seen that. Didn't NASCAR start on the beach?
It did.
Stock car racing?
Yeah.
In Daytona?
Well, I don't know if it started, but Daytona. Was that the first race? Was
on the beach.
Wow.
Yeah, maybe the front stretch was the beach. The back stretch was maybe A1A. Is that A1A? That
yeah, it runs all the way down from Jacksonville along the coast.
Yeah. And then they would circle back around. So the front stretch, I think, was beach, and then the back stretch was, don't quote me on it, but that sounds right.
Yeah. Hey, why don't do that again?
Yeah.
Make it happen. A nostalgia race.
That would be. You know what?
Get your marketing NASCAR guy on the line that wants the appearance fee and tell him we'll give him an idea if he comes on the show.
All right.
There you go.
That's a deal.
And have him do it in trucks, though. Instead of like the NASCAR,
yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you're sliding, and then this guy's like, man, look at the idea I gave y'all.
Yep. Yeah. He's going to take credit for it.
But you're asking for trouble, though. In Daytona, you can drive your truck or car out onto the beach. But you go alcohol, give people their, F-150, their trucks and stuff. You're asking for trouble.
Yep. There's a reason why Florida man is a real thing.
Yeah.
And that's just another perfect example.
That's right.
But disclaimer, don't drive your vehicle here on the beach in Panama City Beach.
Yeah.
Our sand's too soft. You'll get stuck.
You will.
Which we've seen people get stuck out there. Mm-hmm. That happens. Not good. All right, you got one more?
Let's keep it in Florida.
All the crazy stuff happens in Florida.
We talked about camels yesterday, and they, basically run at 40 miles an hour.
Yeah, found that out at the end of the show.
Yeah.
I told like 20 people about that yesterday.
Let's go kangaroo. Ooh. Tampa, Florida.
Dangerous.
Yes.
Dangerous.
Stay away from the kangaroos.
They should put some kangaroos in UFC and see what happens.
A wayward kangaroo in Tampa, Florida was corralled safely by sheriff's deputies Thursday after it was spotted hopping around the pool area of a Florida apartment complex. The Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office released video and still photos of the kangaroo, including some footage shot from a helicopter. The agency also released...
Brought out the helicopter for the room.
Yeah, how about that? The agency also released audio of a female resident of the complex calling it in to report it. I actually see a kangaroo. It's kind of a large kangaroo, the unidentified woman says. We got him closed in the pool gate area. Deputies were able to figure out the animal's owner and reunite them after checking for its proper registration. You can register a kangaroo in the state of Florida.
Interesting.
I
need to get on the horn.
Yeah, I can't imagine having that as a
Google's, where do I find a kangaroo?
No injuries to the kangaroo or any people were reported, just FYI.
Interesting.
You got to have a Class 3 license. You get that from the FWC, I guess, for the possession of wildlife if you want to own a kangaroo in Florida.
See, we just learned you can own a kangaroo. I wouldn't trust it. That kangaroo would come in the middle of the night and stand over you in your bed, and you lean up, and he just pops you one in the mouth.
Name that thing Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, I'd be getting nervous. That's for sure.
So 14 years ago, I had a house with a pool, and I'll never own a house with a pool ever again. But I come home from vacation one Sunday afternoon, and there is a goat in my pool swimming. And you can't make this up.
Nope.
And so I called 911, and, she's like, what's your emergency? And I said, ma'am, I have a goat in my pool. And she goes, excuse me? And I had to repeat myself.
Yeah.
So a deputy came out, and, man, I don't know if I had cell phone back then. I should have recorded this. But a deputy sheriff basically, dove into my pool and got the goat out and put the goat in the back seat of the patrol car. Yes, and drove it off.
Man.
It was fantastic.
And that just goes to show you, if you're a sheriff's deputy or a police officer, your job description is endless. Because you're typically, with gators and stuff like that. I mean, people don't necessarily call animal control first, like what you should have probably done. But you called 911.
It was Sunday.
Oh, so they don't wear animal control doesn't work on Sunday?
Nope. They didn't that day.
And this was in
Griffin.
In Griffin? Yep. I'm sure you could have found a local Griffinite that would have got that goat out of the pool for you. That's for sure. But you would have had a story where a goat was in your pool.
But at the time, Peyton was 3 or 4 years old, and I remember she goes, Dad, there's a goat in backyard. And I'm like, whatever, what are you talking about? And I did, and there she's swimming in the backyard.
The real question is, whatever happened to the goat? Did it get booked? Did it get released on bond? What kind of bond do you set for trespassing if you're a goat?
This is true.
Alfalfa hay?
The punishment is goat nuggets.
Yeah. Yep.
Unbelievable.
Interesting. Do you want to dive into one more?
Yeah.
Okay. I may laugh getting through this one. This is actually from back in November, but apparently there is a FloridaMan.com. And this is the first story on there, and I don't know. It's from FloridaMan.com, so there's your credit. But it's Florida man arrested for pooping on a possum in public. I don't know if I can get through the rest.
Keep it going. Come on. Come on.
Gotta regroup. All right. I should just send this to you so you can read it, Jake.
Okay.
We got another one after that one, too.
Oh, boy. All right, here. Let me send this one to you real quick.
Please
I don't know if I can keep it together.
I can.
Hold on. How do I send it to you?
Pooping on a possum in public, dude. Dag. It's like
What's the best way should I send it to you? Via email?
Yeah, sure.
All right, let's do that. We're doing this live on the air. It's all part of the Afternoon Delight debrief. All right, there you go. Florida man pooping on a possum in public. Ready? It's coming your way.
It's only got to travel, what? 2 feet?
Couple feet.
Couple feet.
But I don't know. The cell, AT&T, it may take a while. Did it come? I may be able to read it now. I don't know. That for the headline was tough.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. A little poop on a possum. P on a P.
glad we're not using AT&T here. Let's see. Florida man arrested for pooping on a possum. That kind of goes together, doesn't it?
But in public.
In public.
This is not a private poop. Yeah, no, private poop is legal. It's a public poop on a possum.
This is crazy.
Like, what the hell? Read it. Read the story.
Hold on.
I'm going to read it here.
With the ads.
Okay,
right now.
there is a lot of ads on this site.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right, I'll
Need
go.
an ad blocker.
You just read with me and pick up if I start laughing. Florida man even confuses us sometimes. This is definitely one of those times. Florida man was arrested this time for pooping on a dead possum on a street in Clearwater during rush hour traffic. The police obtained the smoking gun described the scene of a crime in graphic detail. According to the report, Florida man was observed defecating on a deceased possum with his pants lowered and his high anal region exposed. All right.
All right, so police actually witnessed 45-year-old Robert Wilcox while he was taking his dump on the dead marsupial. The report also stated he did this during rush hour traffic and in plain sight for everyone to see.
It seems strategic to me.
After being detained and read his rights, Wilcox then denied ever pooping on the dead possum. Okay, way to go, dude. He even told the cop that he doesn't see straight. The officer was forced to do some real investigative work to be sure that his vision was correct. He went and observed this dead creature for himself. The report states physical evidence, in quotation, physical evidence, was viewed at the scene, which corroborates the allegations alleged. It's a tough job, but someone has to do it. Wilcox was charged with a misdemeanor for exposure of sexual organs and booked into the Pinellas County Jail on a $150 bond.
I think that's fair to say. It goes back to when you said you think you've seen it all. You certainly haven't. So, and again, that was back from November, so I'm sure there's a lot of other good ones on there. But I just had a lot of visuals on that one, and that made it tough. Made it tough to get through. I can usually keep it together, but that one just struck a nerve.
Beer is good. People are crazy.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. But yeah, what do you do if you come across that, Jay? Driving down the highway and you see a gentleman. The possum was dead, too. Poor possum. It got hit by a car. Ooh, yes. That came into mind, too. What if the possum wasn't dead? What if he's just playing possum?
It could be.
You'd think he would get up, though, if that started happening to him. He's like, yo, bro, chill out. I was just trying to play possum.
And this stuff is for real.
I know. That's what makes it even better.
I know.
Yep.
I mean, man.
We probably got time for one more.
All right.
Yeah, why not?
All right. Well,
there's a plethora to choose from.
This one's not so. It's. We'll just dive in. So
yeah, there you go.
WSVN, a Florida man told police officers that he was teaching it a lesson. He tried to throw a live alligator that he'd stolen from a miniature golf course onto the roof of a beachside cocktail lounge. The 32-year-old man was arrested early Thursday when Daytona Beach Shores police officers spotted him attempting to throw the gator onto the roof of a cocktail lounge located just off of Highway A1.
There you go. Full circle.
Police identified the man as William Hodge. Then the officers saw the man take the alligator by its tail. This is bad. Hit it against the awning of the building.
No, poor gator.
Throw it to the ground and stomp on it twice. The man from Homestead, Florida was taken into custody, charged with possession and injury of an alligator, unarmed burglary of an occupied dwelling, theft, and criminal mischief. The man told officers that he had stolen the gator from an enclosure at a nearby miniature golf course to teach it a lesson.
What was the show back in the day where they were just alligator hunting and just killing them like?
That was the Chudum
Swamp People.
Swamp People.
I
remember we had one of those guys on the Coach James Hale show one time with Leanne.
Yeah, I mean
I think she's related to one of them or something like that.
But they had closed caption at the bottom because you couldn't understand what they were saying.
Yeah.
I mean, it was. I'm like, they're speaking English. I mean, I don't know. This guy gets put in jail for it, and Swamp People. I mean, they. I don't get it. I don't understand.
The moral of the story is don't throw it on the top of an establishment after beating it up. I want to know how big the gator was. Like,
that's true.
This is only like a 2 or 3 foot gator. That's not fair. Like, try that with a 6 foot gator and then come back to me. Show me that you're a man.
But I still feel like a 2 foot gator and a 9 foot gator probably have the same kind of. I mean, the 2 foot gator seems like they would be able to bite you more,
like more agile because of their size.
Yeah,
they're fast though.
Yeah,
they're fast.
Yeah, I would like to see him try this with a regular gator, though. You know, like it's like that old adage: pick on someone your own size.
Yeah, absolutely.
And maybe that's what his punishment should have been: not going to jail. Like, here, we're gonna teach this guy a lesson.
Go do some shows down there at Gator World in Orlando, and you got to get in there in the ring with the gator and wrestle him.
Joe Dirt did it.
Yeah. Joe Dierte. Yeah. Absolutely. Good Florida man one there. And that'll round out your afternoon delight debrief today. And I like the action. We'll keep it coming tomorrow. And Jay Chapman will be with us tomorrow, so maybe we'll task him on finding one. But
this is going to be great.
I'm sure he'll have some good follow-up with that. But you're listening to The Inside Drive. When we get back, we'll start talking about sports again. We appreciate you tuning in. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida. It's the Coach James Hale Show.
We need to go up north and bring Ohio State into the SEC.
I'm living for the day. I'm living for the day.
That ain't going to happen. I tackled him. I grabbed his leg, wouldn't let him go. Got a picture with him. Up in Hoover.
We need to talk about that, if you don't mind, James.
Weekday morning, 7 to 9. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your forecast on this Thursday. Some sun the remainder of the day with a moderate breeze out of the south around 13 miles per hour and look for it to be 66. Tonight, there will be some clouds and very light showers with the temperature reaching 63. Partly sunny tomorrow with a high of 70. Saturday, we'll have a high of 66 and sunshine. This weather is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Are you tired of hearing 2 weeks when you call to get your boat worked on? Hey folks, it's Chris Kramer with Kramer Marine and Outdoor, and we'll get you in and back out on the water as quick as possible. We're a full-line Yamaha outboard dealer and Suzuki outboard dealer, and we have master-trained certified mechanics on site. So if it's just an annual service, electronics install, trolling motor install, or all the way up to a full repower, we can take care of you. So stop by and see us in the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd next to Bill Kramer GM, or call us at 850-851-0453.
Hey there, business owners. Do you feel lost in a sea of numbers, struggling to navigate your day-to-day accounting? At Lighthouse CPAs, they specialize in guiding businesses to make more money and keep more of what you make. From bookkeeping to tax planning, they've got you covered. Plus, with their user-friendly software, managing your finances has never been easier. Spend less time on paperwork and more time growing your business. Call Lighthouse CPAs 850-785-5254.
Coming in hot.
So hot.
It'll be a hot one. Really hot.
God damn.
The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey. Live from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios on ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. That reminds me of high school and some of the things we were talking about there in that last segment. You doing good?
Yeah. How about you?
Having a good show?
Having a great
We didn't talk a whole lot about sports in that last segment, but that's all. As long as you're entertained. And one of the beautiful things about telling stories like that on the air is each person is going to have their own visual of what's going on.
Yes.
And that's what really got me with the possum story.
Yeah.
It's just kind of picturing that, like you're driving down the highway and that's what you see. You're like, no. Did we really just see it? It's kind of like the goat in the backyard.
Right.
That's a good story. Or in your pool, I should say.
Yeah.
I will say I am a little disappointed that you didn't take care of the goat yourself.
Yeah, no,
No goat for you?
No, not
had
gonna
your
do
own
it.
Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Say what?
You could have had your own Michael Jordan.
Yeah, I could have.
Do you get it?
No.
I didn't think so.
Yeah.
The goat.
The greatest of all time. I think of Tiger Woods when I think of that. But,
Okay.
But Michael Jordan works as well.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah, you could have had your own. Instead, it got booked into what county?
Spalding County.
Spalding County facility.
He sure did.
That ties right in with Michael Jordan then.
Yeah.
In the basketball.
There you
Perfect.
go. Full circle.
Trespassing. That's what he got. He got trespassing.
Well, yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah. Yeah.
He wasn't supposed to be there. You didn't give him permission to be in your pool.
Not at all.
No. Nope. Next time you won't either.
No, I won't.
Next time you won't. Do you want to, real quick, we will jump back into some sports, but I want to recap. We talked about it yesterday. There was about half the final round to go, and that was the Water Sound Invitational over there at Shark's Tooth Golf Club in Panama City Beach. And just a stacked field. We talked about it, but Vanderbilt ended up pulling away there at the end, shooting a 278, 278, and 279, which is real stout at that golf club for a minus 29 first place nice victory there in the Water Sound Invitational. But huge shout out to Florida State for finishing tied for second after being a little bit further back down after that first round. They shot 11 under par yesterday, not to be outdone by Georgia Tech, who ended up shooting 12 under par. Both of those teams finished at minus 20, finishing second. But we did talk about it a little bit yesterday, but Florida State, individual Gray Albright finished his final round yesterday at 4 under par, shooting 68, 70, 68 to be minus 10 and win the individual championship there of the Water Sound Invitational. So although Florida State finished tied for second, they had an individual finish first, even though he wasn't part of that team competition. So yeah, there you go. Florida State. We'll have to get Trey Jones on the line next week. We talked to Amy yesterday.
What do you think they're averaging? And I talked to John Fortner about this morning because he was out there for the last couple of days. What do you think the average drive was for all the competitors this week at Shark's Tooth, if you had to throw a number out there?
I wonder if Golf Stat will tell me that.
Well, I didn't know.
I'm going to say 320.
Man, you're pretty close. Yeah. John said 310.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
That's average.
Yeah.
So that means they're probably poking it out there 330, 340 on times, and then maybe 280, 290 to average out. Anyways, that's...
Well, and there's a lot of holes out there. Go ahead, David.
Well, I just had a question for you guys. What do y'all attribute that to? Like the golf ball, the golf equipment, or swings, like because... swings becoming better, more athleticism? What do you attribute it to?
You want it?
Tiger in '97, we've talked about it. I mean, he got into the weight room and lifted, got more, I guess, more physically fit. So that attributes to it. Other thing is instruction, TrackMan, knowing your club head speed.
Technology.
Yeah. I mean, it's like if you're trying to lose weight, you need a scale in your bathroom to figure out, like, hey, where am I at?
Do you? No, Jay, we talked about this yesterday. We need Slim Fast.
That's right. Slim Fast. That's it. Yeah.
I must have missed that one.
That was after the show.
Yeah. Slim Fast, huh? Is that still around? It's got to be, right?
We were just talking about how people want things to happen so quickly.
Oh, yeah. Instant gratification.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And it's like, you don't need to work on things. You need Slim Fast. You don't need whatever. It's just so.
Yeah, you get busy in the world, you go to fast food. You get to, on a busy highway, you want to hit the expressway. It's all these adjectives about express.
No, that's good stuff.
It's crazy.
That's good stuff.
It's crazy. 5-minute oil change,
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to go make a 2-minute oil change.
Yeah, do it. That'd be impressive.
That would be.
Take me 2 minutes just to get the cap.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Anyway. There you go. But yeah, no, getting back to it, it's definitely technology. It's definitely the equipment, the golf ball, but more so the drivers and all that stuff as well. But I think fitness just has a huge part of it as well. Yeah. But also these college teams, the resources that they have this day and age than they did in the past is just completely different because there's so much more money flowing to these programs nowadays because all that, the money that the football program stuff, it trickles down through all these other sports. So they have nutritionists, they have their own weight rooms. Like these golf facilities that these places are building are just absolutely crazy. I mean, even some of the lower tier colleges, like I know Augusta University, formerly Augusta State, the golf house they have there at Forest Hills is unbelievable.
Right.
So the resources that these kids have nowadays, I think, really attributes to distance.
Well, and we get so in love with, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Ryan, but we get so in love with the club head itself, with the driver. It's like, oh man, I got the new block, but what about the shaft? And the shaft, the shaft is part of the golf club that really not a lot of people talk about, and I think it's probably the most important.
The shaft is the engine.
That's your engine.
The club head is the paint job, the outside of the car, the aesthetics of it.
Yeah.
But the shaft is certainly the engine.
Yeah.
So the shaft is obviously very important when it comes to golf. And a lot of people just let that go right over their head, and they just buy stuff stock off the shelf. And, all of a sudden you could be hitting the ball all over the place, and it's not because of your swing. It's because you got the wrong piece of equipment in your hand. That's where the TrackMan and all that stuff come into play. And I did a good job there. You didn't notice, but I did. David almost let me go down a row, but I kept it straight.
What?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
We'll skip it. But congratulations to Florida State on a great Water Sound Invitational. They are the host club at that tournament over there. And I saw, too, that Paul Paul is he's leaving over there. He's
is.
going to Stitch Golf.
I was texting with him yesterday and did not know that he was taking that step into the outside sales world.
Yeah, going to be a rep.
Yeah.
But Stitch Golf's right up his alley. And,
yeah.
And Paul could sell what do you say, ice to an Eskimo?
Yeah.
He could sell anything to anybody. So he'll do good at that.
He will.
But what a little way to go out there, hosting the Water Sound Invitational, and then moving over there to Stitch. Mm-hmm. We may have to reach out to him, see if we can get some hookup on that Stitch action. We do some Stitch out there at Bay Point, but not a ton. Just 'cause it's a little bit more high end.
Yeah.
That is for sure. All right, I want to talk about this, Jay Henley. We talked a little bit about it yesterday, but it's obviously kind of been broke yesterday while we were on the show, so a little bit more information out about it. And that's Charlie Woods. Tiger Woods' 15-year-old son will try to qualify for a PGA Tour event. Now, little trickier when it comes to this. This is the formerly known as the Honda Classic, which is now the Cognizant Classic. It's a pre-qualifier. So not only is there a Monday qualifier to get in the event, but you have to pre-qualify just to get into the Monday qualifier. So in a surprise announcement early Wednesday afternoon, PGA Tour said Charlie Woods, the 15-year-old son of 15-time major champion Tiger Woods, is playing in the Cognizant Classic pre-qualifier on Thursday. Charlie Woods will play at Lost Lake Golf Club in Hobe. It's either Hobe or Hobie Sound, Florida. One of the 4 pre-qualifier sites. About 25 players and ties will move on to Monday's qualifier, where then the funnel gets very, 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 very narrow.
Yeah.
Where you're only going to have 4 players earning spots into the Cognizant Classic. So, what are your thoughts? I mean, we talked a little bit about it yesterday, but I'd love to get a little bit more on it and see what you think.
Well, it goes back to kind of what Chris Fall was saying earlier, and traveling the country and kind of getting beat up, if you will, amongst other great teams. I think this is setting Charlie up for some future endeavors. I don't think he qualifies this weekend or today to move on to the Monday qualifier.
It's 120 people at this at the 4 qualifying sites.
Yeah, so I mean, but is it a great opportunity for a 15-year-old to be amongst some of the elite in the game? Yes. Does he have the confidence that Tiger Woods had at 15? Not quite sure yet, but
I don't know. Watching him in that father-son classic, he seems like a cocky little fella.
Yeah.
That's for sure, especially when he hits a tee shot and recoils quick and walks down after it.
He could.
I guess if you're Tiger Woods' kid, you can do that. But if I saw some just random kid doing that in a junior golf tournament, I'd be like, who's this kid?
Right.
I mean, unless he goes out there and shoots like 62 or something, I'm like, all right, that's fine.
Yeah.
But it gets back to that cockiness versus confidence. There's a blend of the two.
There is. Do you think he gets through pre-qualification?
I think he might get through pre-qualification, but I don't know. Ross Robinson commented on the Facebook thing. It said Tom Brady was in Jay's pool and he didn't get an autograph. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. But yeah, I think he might get through the pre-qualifying because there's 25 spots in that pre-qualifying, so a lot better opportunity. But then as obviously would have to Monday qualify on this Monday coming up, and that's when it gets tough because there's a lot of guys that don't even need to pre-qualify to get in, that are already like exempt into that Monday qualifier.
Yeah.
So he's going to be going up against some really, really good competition, that's for sure. But
and back then we didn't have the media that we have today. You know, you never
for sure.
You never hear about Tiger's losses as a 10 or 12-year-old. It was always his wins.
Yeah.
I mean, surely he had to lose as a 10. Well, maybe not. I don't know.
I don't know. But it is golf. I mean, and like Amy Bond said yesterday, you in golf, especially in college golf, team golf, you lose a lot more than you win.
That's right.
And that's just part of it. But yeah, no, I mean, the social media buzz around there, I'm sure. I was trying to look up and see if they had any scoring or anything like that yet, but I have not found anything successfully quite yet. But yeah, some good stuff there. And you think something like this with Tiger kind of I don't know the right phrase for this, not moving out of the game, because that's not what's happening. But you even said it a little bit yesterday. Tiger, he withdrew from the Genesis.